afternoon and welcome to News Hour. I am Kojo Kwafor. Coming up in this afternoon's edition of News Hour, the Environment Protection Agency schools local councils on the environmental compliance, enforcement and prosecution guidelines. NACSA pays beneficiaries of the Social Safety Net program in Oyamba District. And the director of the Open Government Initiative says the absence of communication and mistrust led to the conflict in Sierra Leone. All these stories and more, including your business and sports news, are lined up in this afternoon's edition of News Hour. Environment Protection Agency has schooled local council environmental compliance, enforcement and prosecution guidelines of the agency. The day's session was designed by EPA to educate local councils on the guidelines to ensure compliance with the laid down environmental impact assessment procedures in planning and execution of developmental projects. Ibrahim Samura witnessed the forum at the One World Link Hall in Bo City.
Local councils in the south, north and eastern regions. It focused on environmental compliance enforcement and prosecution guidelines developed by the Environment Protection Agency. The senior regional environmental officer EPA Alfred John D told participants the session aims at increasing their knowledge.
We will bring you that report later on in the program or in a subsequent edition of News Hour. The director of Open Government Initiative, Khadija Sise, has said the absence of communication created lots of mistrust, suspicion and reasons for the civil conflict in Sierra Leone. She was speaking at a cocktail ceremony of the Open Government Partnership Steering Committee at State House. Awana Tukuntu reports.
The Open Government Initiative was set up 8 years ago by President Ernest Bai Koroma to share activities of government socio-economic development, thereby bringing government closer to the people through discussions and participatory team sessions. Director, Open Government Initiative, Open Government Partnership, Khadija Sise, said OGI promotes inclusion, participation, transparency and accountability in governance. She added that they empower civil society and media organizations to play a watchdog role to monitor public institutions, to enable them plan, streamline, and set priorities in budget allocation and monitor implementation.
Such developments are inclusive of, but not limited to, the following: the effective development of the national action plans and implementation for the promotion of transparency, accountability, innovation, and citizens' participation in governance.
The OGI-OGP director said the OGP process in Sierra Leone has concluded its first national action plan with over 70% successes. She added that the steering committee continues to provide support in strengthening good governance, reduce poverty, and the effective use of advocacy for greater accountability to citizens in Sierra Leone and the diaspora. Vice President Dr. Victor Bokari Fo commended President Koroma for establishing the OGI Secretariat, which has contributed immensely to accountability, transparency, and good governance. He encouraged all to put hands on deck for them to score higher marks in the second National Action Plan.
We had no such thing as Open Government Initiative or Open Government Partnership. And that was captured by the TRC. The government should be accountable to the people, and the government must be inclusive, it must be participatory. I say kudos to our president who took the challenge on assuming office to set up the OGP Secretariat. And I'm glad from what I've read and what I'm told again that part 1 of the plan is complete, and we are moving into part 2.
The Vice President recommended for a research unit to be set up in the OGI-OGP Secretariat. Special Advisor to the President and Coordinator of the International Benchmarks, Dr. Joseph Samsisi, spoke about the importance of the OGP process and the roles of government and civil society organizations in the implementation of the partnership. On behalf of development partners, Economic and Commercial Officer, U.S. Embassy, Scott Risner, said the partnership will help inform citizens.
Members of Godrich community have launched their Policing Partnership Board at a ceremony held at the Great Hall of the Melvin Magai College of Education and Technology. Abdul Samsisi has more on that story.
Speaking at the luncheon ceremony, Honorable Solomon Berewa, who is also an advisor to the Policing Partnership Board, informed his audience that he was head of the Police Council for 6 years whilst he was vice president. According to Honorable Solomon Berewa, during that period, the police were friendly, disciplined, and closely working with the local communities as a force for good. Assistant Inspector General of Police Gloria Tarawali, who outlined the benefits to be derived from the local Policing Partnership Board in the Godrich community, said it will enhance safety and security, inspire confidence and trust between the parties with a strong and transparent relationship. The local unit commander, Superintendent Ambrose Michael Suvula, who gave an overview of the LPPB, said that improper application of the Judges Rule 1 by the police that stipulates, among others, a thorough investigation of suspects before reprimanding them is a cause for concern for the judiciary and the general public.
Policing is not an individual business. Policing must be inclusive, everybody, especially the community whom we are policing. We call the type of policing local need policing. We take the policing to the community. The thieves are in the community. The burglars are in the community. Those that are stealing are in the community. Except otherwise, we work together with the community. Otherwise, the challenges are heavy.
He, however, maintained that the creation of the local Policing Partnership Board will help to reduce the crime rate in the Godrich community through collaborative efforts. The principal of the MMCET, Dr. Saidu Kano, who is also an advisor to the board, said the launching of the LPPB was timely as the police cannot combat the crime rate in the country. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Internal Affairs, Al-Hassan Karamo Konde, called on religious leaders to emphasize the preaching of the abolition of crime rates in the country. David Blair is the Public Relations Officer of the LPPB.
Definitely, it's a pure voluntary job in the first place because as a union, we have to serve your country. It's very, very much important that you give a service to your country. So we as members in the board, we pool our resources and we have the blessing of stakeholders in the community, advisors. You see, you are here and the former Vice President, Solomon Berewa.
For SLBC News, Abdul Samsisi reporting.
A national youth service scheme for university students is to start in Sierra Leone. The aim is to reduce unemployment among young people in the country. This disclosure was made at a national school debate. The Western Urban District took first position, whilst Kenema District was runner-up, with Moyamba coming in third place. The debate was organized by the National Youth Commission with funds from Osiwa, during Kaloko reports.
What I study, that is the field that I would serve. The question is, would you be happy? When if I studied law in college, this will not send me to the station. I will be sent to the bar. Answer my question. Please take note. He is not answering my question. Mr. Chairman, please. Anyway, continue.
The national school debate saw the Western Urban District emerging the best debater, whilst Kenema came second and Moyamba taking the third position. The rationale behind the debate was for various schools to discuss about the upcoming youth scheme its benefits, patriotism, and the reduction of unemployment. Meanwhile, the youth scheme will witness young people shifting to other parts of the country to serve both community and humanity and help them to gain experience and skills for job employment. The national coordinator of the Sierra Leone Debating Council, Mohamed Kane, said that the debate created a room for the pupils to critically discuss the upcoming youth scheme and also shared ideas on issues of national concern. He said that before the national debate, the pupils were trained on how to debate, adding that they carefully selected the judges for a credible and successful outcome. He said that they're impressed with the performance of the debaters, which shows that the pupils are fast learning and are determined to bring changes on issues of national concern. The executive director of the Global Youth Network, Musa Kali Kuroma, commended the National Youth Commission for implementing the national debate in a transparent and successful atmosphere, and thanked Osiwa for providing the funds. He stressed the need to continue with such educative sessions, which helped the students to become public speakers, fluent in English, and be able to do research on wide-ranging issues. The best debater, Alex Barr, felt delighted to take part in such national school debates, which did not only add laurels to him, but his school and community.
And I am the proud winner of the 2016 National Secondary School Debating Competition. And of course, I feel highly, I'm extremely happy to be the winner because it has been my dream since I was early in my senior school. I started debating, and my prime objective was not only to inspire people within my school, but to also ensure that I show out Sierra Leone out there that's being in a school that is people are considering that it's not a good school, it's not something that you must take granted. But it is with you, the individual. I am from services and it's by
Member of Parliament for Constituency 62, Aaron Aruna Kuroma, is presently funding a summer school program for children in Yonibana Chiefdom in the Tonkolede district. According to Honorable Aruna Kuroma, the Aaron Summer School is a payback time to his community and the need to promote the government's agenda for prosperity. He made the statement during an assessment visit to the summer school centers in Mile 91. Hive Jasko reports.
I'm presently at Mile 91, and this is the Yonibana Chiefdom, the headquarter town of Mile 91. Where I'm standing is the UMC Primary School. Actually, we are here to assess the Aaron Summer School, which according to the Honorable Member of Parliament, Aaron Kuroma, is a payback time to the community. So we're here to sort the views of parents, teachers, and pupils, including students.
Summer school can be seen as very important and a good way for pupils to enhance their learning, and it provides an opportunity for children who did not excel during the school year to revisit the material, often under a different teacher's supervision and teaching style.
Up to 9 or 6. In a number line. Are we paying attention? Yeah.
At the Anzarul Islamic Primary School, the head teacher for the girls, Marikabo, said there are 4 operating Aaron Summer School centers catering for primary and secondary school children. She added that this is the first time such venture is being undertaken in the chiefdom, and that due to the funds provided by Honorable Aaron Aruna Kuroma, the turnout is very good. According to Marikabo, their focus should be on girl child education because the knowledge and empowerment of one girl can bring about a change in a society and contribute to the growth of a nation.
For this summer school is 264 children. We educate the children not to be pregnant. We go around, we ask those children that have started menstruating.
Okay.
So we tell them when the child started menstruating, we are exposed to pregnancy.
Whilst assessing the summer school centers, Honorable Aaron Koroma of Constituency 62 said he strongly believes that holy investment in education will change Yoruba chiefdom and that it is one of his priorities to produce academics and professionals in building the human resource capacity in the country. He called on the school children to study hard for public examinations and promised to award university scholarships to pupils of excellence.
So we thought it fit as community leaders that we should have a role to play to see how we can complement government efforts at our respective local communities. And besides, there is not enough resources to give to everyone. But believing the fact that helping a child to be educated is like helping the whole community. For whosoever that benefits from this summer school it comes from a family. So that's why I've decided, in order for me to ensure that I embark on an activity that will impact the whole constituency.
Parents and school children described the Aaron Free Summer School as a roadmap of improvement in education in the chiefdom.
If I can compare during our normal school days, most of the topics that we've not dealt with, when we came here, the teachers that are teaching in this summer school, they have tried their possible best to cover those topics.
That benefits a lot. We have benefits a lot from this extra classes. Adding that with its continuity, they are sure to have good results in public examinations.
Education is improving, but we still have problem with this SS4. Us now as young graduates, we are not talking to them at least to see that education must be their priority, so that at least it must be their primary focus.
Education is essential to good citizenship, and that education is important to life because it enables people to contribute to their community and their country.
First of all, I want to give my thanks to him for what he has done for us.
If not, all of us not going to be able to learn us. This holiday is very long. Thank the Honorable to make this summer school, because the teacher are teaching us, we are enjoying the summer school. The teacher are teaching us to understand.
Well, you've heard the views of teachers, parents, students, and pupils who have benefited from the Aaron Summer School right now at Yonibana Chiefdo, Mile 91. Well, actually, this is a payback time. As we know, under the government's agenda for prosperity, education is a priority for all, especially the girl child. My name is Eva Jasko, reporting.
Agency has schooled local council environmental compliance, enforcement and prosecution guidelines of the agency. The day's session was designed by the EPA to educate local councils on the guidelines to ensure compliance with the laid down environmental impact assessment procedures in planning and execution of developmental projects. Ibrahim Samura witnessed the forum at the One World Link Hall in Bo City.
Brought together environmental officers from the local councils in the south, north, and eastern regions. It focused on environmental compliance enforcement and prosecution guidelines developed by the Environment Protection Agency. The senior regional environmental officer EPA Alfred Jondi told participants the session aims at increasing their knowledge and build their capacity on local council environment enforcement and prosecution of environmental crimes. He said EPA came into existence by an act of parliament in 2008 with a mandate to effectively protect and managing the environment, including air, water, soil, and biodiversity. The training consultant lawyer Ibrahim Suriyila said EPA developed the prosecution guidelines to ensure full environmental compliance, enforcement, and prosecution by any defaulters. He schooled the various councils on the Environmental Protection Agency instrument, saying that it came into being in 2000 by the then government but was under the Ministry of Lands. Lawyer Yila said the present government in 2008 reviewed the act, which addressed some of the gaps in the 2000 Act to give the act more teeth, and which calls for the establishment of an environmental protection agency. He told the various councils that Section 18 of the Local Government Act of 2004 charges every local council to protect and manage the environment in their localities. He spoke of the various offenses in the EPA Act and outlines some of the agency's functions, among which he said are to advise the president on environmental matters. Lawyer Yila told participants that one of the key functions of the agency also is to ensure compliance and enforcement with the environmental laws by mining companies and institutions. The legal...
This is just a practical example to demonstrate how we investigate environmental offenses. Okay? Now, let's say I do this in Kojo district. This land is in Kojo district. If you see the character and color of your land changing, the color changes from brown to blue, wouldn't it concern me as environmental officer of Kojo District Council? And you would pursue my company, not so?
The legal consultant of the Environment Protection Agency, Lionel Macaulay Esquire, said they undertook the session to ensure that all local councils in the country better understand the prosecution guidelines, compliance and enforcement in the EPA Act. She assured the various councils of their continued support with them.
It's very important for them to understand the Environment Protection Agency Act. A lot of people in the country as a whole, they don't understand the act. Some people don't even know about the Environment Protection Agency Act. So in the bid to create public awareness and to build capacity of local council and government officers, the EPA decided to do this training for them.
Participants promised working with the agency in the implementation of the environmental compliance, enforcement and prosecution guidelines, but spoke of challenges in their councils.
Recently, the Health and Sanitation Minister, Dr. Abubakar Fofana, called on members of the public to donate blood to the blood bank as the bank has gone short of blood. Among the institutions that contributed is the Latter-day Saints Church. Over the weekend, the church donated 200 units of blood to the Safe Blood Services Department at the Connaught Hospital and other hospitals across the country. Mama Denkin can file this report.
According to the Medical Laboratory Scientific Officer, Safe Blood Services, Sayo Kurma, the blood donation for members of the Latter-day Saints was timely as the blood bank in the country has gone short of blood. Mr. Sayo said volunteers are tested if they meet the donor criteria, which means that any person should meet the international weight standard of 50 kilograms.
Usually, as a program, when we are out on the blood collection, we are doing massive blood collection. We don't do pre-screening. We call it pre-screening. That is to say, you have to test somebody first if his blood is safe before you collect from the person. But when we are doing outreach program, we are preserving confidentiality. So we don't want to screen one person, we disqualify one, and then we take the other one. There will be a lot of questions that will arise, and that will reveal somebody's health status. So because of this, we do more mass collection, and when we get this blood to the blood bank, then we have to screen so that you see which one is free from the blood transfusion transmissible infections.
According to the president of the stake of Eton Latter-day Saints, Solomon Agbo, the exercise was also demonstrated at the 34 Hospital and the Bo Government Hospital. He said the donation of the blood from her church members was part of their contribution in upgrading the health sector in the country. She said her church has been cleaning main areas of the country, citing Victoria Park, the blind school, among others. He said the donation is to reduce the death rates in the country as a result of lack of blood.
Our members are very enthusiastic in doing so because they know that this can help to save life. And a few months ago, there was a call by the Minister of Health that members people should donate blood, and this is part of the call that we are answering. So in all, we are doing this to make sure that we serve humanity as a church.
Bishop of Duazak Latter-day Saints, John Titus O'Neill, said he is supporting the donation for humanitarian reasons.
We feel pleased and happy to do it because we all have to work to save souls. So that's why we are here, and we are so happy to do that.
Elder Peter Aken also consented to donate 1 unit of blood. It was amazing to see how church members from the Latter-day Saints were eager to donate.
The National Commission for Social Action, NACSA, under the implementation of the Social Safety Net program, have done cash payments to the beneficiaries in Moyamba who are engaged in the labor-intensive cash for work component. Sandro Kagbo sent in this report.
In collaboration with the Anti-Corruption Commission and Splash Money Transfers, NACSA verifies these payments by confirming the ID and verifying the farms that the beneficiaries have cultivated. The farming products include groundnuts, cassava and other vegetables on a 25 acres of land that has been provided by the community. At Plentiful Village in the Bakura Chiefdom, the beneficiaries cultivated 25 acres of groundnuts. It was also the same for Mongovi Village and Bokuma Village in the Kayamba Chiefdom, as well as Taninau. Beneficiaries expressed their delight in the project as they are receiving wages for labor, yield in their own, and seeds are reserved for other planting season. They also explained about the way they are going to put money in use as the money came in timely. Schools will soon reopen and part of the money will be used to pay their children's fees, attend to health needs, and also engage in small-scale businesses. Stakeholders, including the chiefs, lauded the projects in their communities as their lives have improved. They commended the government and World Bank for the initiative. It could be recalled that the labor-intensive cash for work is a World Bank-funded project which empowers youths in communities. Money is not meant for individuals, but for households.
Let's now join Judith Sana for the business news.
Hello and welcome to the business updates. We begin with the foreign exchange rates. The US dollar buys at 6,116 leones and sells at 6,239 leones. Pound sterling buys at 7,898 leones and sells at 8,062 leones. Euro buys at 6,830 leones and sells at 6,966 leones. That's the foreign exchange rate courtesy of the central bank. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, is expected to reach effective application of the Common External Tariff from the 1st of January next year by the 15 member states of the community. Here's the report.
Was reached on the 15th of this month in Cotonou, Benin, which makes it imperative as only 9 member states apply the Common External Tariff that became effective in January last year. The ECOWAS Common External Tariff, which was launched during a meeting of heads of states and governments in December 2014 in Abuja, Federal Republic of Nigeria, was adopted in January this year. According to the ECOWAS release, the Common External Tariff will serve as a milestone in the establishment of a customs union as part of ECOWAS integration program. The release adds that the success of the West Africa integration depends on the creation of a common market through the liberalization of trade and the adoption of a common external tariff. According to the release, to reach the desired goal, ECOWAS assigned a team of consultants in the 15 member states to assess the situation and identify the inherent difficulties. The reports, according to the release, will be submitted to members of a joint management committee of the Common External Tariff, which is expected to hold its meeting in Dakar this week. The release concludes that the Dakar meeting will be an opportunity for the ECOWAS Commission to work especially with the 6 member states that failed to apply the Common External Tariff. The Common External Tariff, when implemented, will bolster trade within the ECOWAS region and beyond.
The annual inflation rate moved slightly upwards from 9.45% in May to 10.16% in June this year. Lucy and Ganda finding this report.
Alone, the June inflation increased as a result of the increase in food prices during the holy month of Ramadan and the exchange rate deepening with a drop in the value of the yuan to the dollar. This, according to the statement, reflects a monthly increase that is greater than the previous month, which means that prices are increasing at a higher rate. The increase in the price level for June, the statement adds, was as a result of the increase in the demand for food due to the holy month of Ramadan and reinforced by the steady depreciation of the yuan as against foreign currencies, especially the dollar. Year-on-year rates of inflation increased in the Western area from 9.16% in May to 9.73% in June this year. In the northern region, inflation also increased from 11.84% to 12.66%, while in the southern region, it also increased from 9.95% to 11%. The eastern region also recorded an increase from 10.58% to 11.29%.
Well, that's the business update. Thanks for watching. I am Judy Pasana. Bye-bye.
Well, from the business desk, we now go over to the sports desk with David Patrick Kamara.
Thank you very much. Well, for sports this afternoon, ahead of Leon Stars' encounter with the Elephants of Ivory Coast in the African Cup of Nations qualifier, the Sierra Leone Football Association, SLFA, has presented a delegation to the Ministry of Sport. The presentation of the squad comes at a time when Sierra Leone is leaving to camp in Ghana in preparation for the make-or-break encounter with the Elephants of Ivory Coast in Bouaké on the 3rd of September. Well, here's the presentation ceremony led by the Vice President of the SLFA, Brema Manzola Kamara.
20-man delegation is leading right now. We can seek the ministry blessing. It's just unfortunate the time is so tight. So please just forgive us for these are the guys. There's the coaches out there, sir.
Vice presidents, and also to the head coach and technical team, the team manager and the players all. Of course, as a ministry and National Sports Council, we are very, very much delighted to receive your audience and also bidding farewell for a training camp in Ghana for onward to actually honor our match in La Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. I mean, this is a match that as a ministry and government we attach very, very much kind of seriousness into, because if you look at the complexity and you also look at the hope for, and I know you have been following the standards of the Ivoria, but that in any way should not put you as being in a disadvantaged position, because we've played them in Ghana with the same coach, and the match was a goalless draw. But if you look at our performance, we have greater chances to have defeated the Ivorians, and you have to capitalize from that kind of morale and see how.
Well, we'll move over to the just concluded Rio Games. Sierra Leonean athletes are still counting their experience after returning from the 2016 Rio Olympic Games. 4 athletes from Sierra Leone, 2 each from swimming and athletics, represented Sierra Leone in the Games. One of them is Bintu Rabi Jalon, who participated in the 50 meters freestyle in the Games. And when she visited our studio, she explained to Francis Bernard about her experience in the Games.
Phelps was Missy Franklin. She's the fastest swimmer alive right now. We met in the dining room, and like everybody was taking photo of her, and I told her, "But to show yourself, Africans are coming stronger." And she looked at me. I don't think she understands. Only the Ghanaians and the Nigerians that were sitting with us understood what I said, and she only looked at me and smiled. So the next day at the pool, she came and said to me, "Where are you from?" I told her we were from Sierra Leone. We started chatting, and I asked her what she does, her training schedule. I talked to her coach. They gave me everything. And one important question I asked her was her diet. When I went to Brazil, I love to eat egg, boiled egg. And I told her, "Is boiled egg good for athletes when competing?" And she told me no, because it's hard to digest. It doesn't digest easily. And so I took that one off my plate, and she told me how to eat. And I think that was one of the greatest things that helped me to cut down on my time.
One of the news just in is that the IPC Travel, in collaboration with SLFA, is currently launching an exclusive offer to watch the Lone Star match against Ivory Coast in a different package that is just meant for football fans in the country. But details on that story will follow in a subsequent sports program. Just before we go, in the international scene, Barcelona goalkeeper Claudio Bravo is set for a medical at Manchester City. The Chilean international, who is 33 years old, has been identified by Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola as the new #1 goalkeeper. Pep Guardiola, since his arrival as manager at Manchester City, has been having problems with the England #1 goalkeeper Joe Hart, so he may be replaced by Claudio Bravo. That's all we have time for in this edition of Sports Update. Over to you, Kojo.
Yes, many thanks to David for bringing us the sports news. And now to end news, a quick look at the main points again. The Environment Protection Agency has schooled local councils on the environmental compliance, enforcement and prosecution guidelines. NACSA has paid beneficiaries of the social safety net programs in Moyamba district. And the director of the Open Government Initiative has said the absence of communication and mistrust led to the conflict in Sierra Leone. That's all we can bring you in this edition of Newshour. On behalf of the news editor Azmir Ba, I am Kojo Kwafor. For more information about our programs, to send us an email to contact us at slbc.so. And thank you very much to the producer, Julia.